You know that feeling when you finish a meeting about a meeting that was called to discuss the outcome of an email chain that started because someone had a 5-minute question? Yeah, we've all been there. Today, I want to talk about something I call over processing, and more importantly, how to catch yourself doing it before it swallows your entire day. Here's a real situation. Picture this: someone on your team needs to change the date of a report. That's it. One field, one date. But instead of changing it, an email goes out. Then a reply all. Then someone suggests a quick call to align. The call turns into a 45-minute discussion about the entire reporting process. A follow up meeting gets scheduled. A shared document is created. And then 3 days later, the date still hasn't been changed. Does that sound familiar? I've sat in that meeting, I've called that meeting, and the honest truth, in the moment, it felt completely justifiable. It felt like due diligence. It felt like leadership, but it wasn't. It was noise dressed up as productivity. Here's what I've come to understand about overprocessing: it rarely comes from laziness, and it usually comes from anxiety. The anxiety of making the wrong call, the discomfort of owning a decision, the habit of mistaking motion for progress. We loop other people in not because we need them, but because it spreads the responsibility. We call meetings not because we need alignment, but because a decision that goes wrong in a meeting feels less like our fault. And organizations actually reward this behavior. If you're always in meetings, always on calls, always coordinating, you look busy, you look important, even if nothing is actually moving forward. I had a moment, I remember it clearly, where I looked at my calendar on a Tuesday morning and I had 6 hours of meetings. And I thought, when am I supposed to do any work? That was the question that started to shift something in me. So, what's the actual skill here? It's not about becoming someone who cuts corners or doesn't communicate. It's about pausing before you process. Before you draft that email, ask yourself, could this be a message? Before you schedule that call, ask yourself, could this be an email? Before you call that meeting, ask, could this just be a decision I make right now? The pause is everything. Because the most of the time, when I'm about to overcomplicate something, there's a small, quiet part of me that already knows the answer. I don't quite trust it yet, or I'm not ready to be accountable for it. Self awareness here doesn't mean being hard on yourself. It means noticing the pattern, catching that moment when you reach for the calendar invite or the group email thread and asking, is this actually necessary, or am I just uncomfortable making a call? The 5-minute task that turns into 3 emails, 2 calls, and a meeting, that's not a time management problem. It's a self trust problem. And the fix isn't a productivity system or a new tool. It's a moment of honesty with yourself. So this week, pick one thing, one decision that you've been processing when you already know the answer, and just make the call. Not perfectly, not with full consensus, just you trusting your own judgment. That's where the real work starts. Thanks for listening. And if this one resonated, share it with someone who needs to cancel a meeting today.